dexterity to move around, and then have that knowledge in your head of what exactly you need to press is not something that should be taken for granted. Not many players, not many people can do what these players are doing. We're seeing them.
And it's not often we see that happen, but it's almost like he's just used to completing it, and so nobody has any mishaps here towards the end, which we know are definitely possible. We've seen people. Representing Australia, and we'll see whether or not he's going to be able to put on a better score. He's got 2 minutes and 12 seconds to beat here, and you can see off to the races. And a nice start using a combination. We'll see this from all different players, right? Just sliding their way on through as they hit these shots.
And he was actually one of the players that was pretty consistently being able to get under that 2-minute mark. So I would expect Anon to be one of the faster players here, but that's in practice. Practice is a little different than being up on this big stage, and so far so good. He's moving pretty well.
He is moving indeed. We'll see whether or not he can stay consistent in the 90 section. This is going to be one of the spots to watch out all throughout today. It's almost safe to say if you mess up here, you know, it's not looking good for you time-wise, but he completes it cleanly into this section now, the third section, or the fourth section, sorry, in good time as well. You can see he's getting through there rapidly.
And barely missing any shots, right on target. Should be at that 50 mark in just a second. And now it's going to be up to that edit course, because this is where we saw it be problematic. But Anon was moving through this with ease when I was watching him in practice.
Ooh, a door edit there. That's always a rough one. Can slow you down just a couple seconds, but he stays resilient, keeps moving through. And you can see as he speeds up, that's what we wanted to see. Clean edits, just gliding through. And you saw he rotated the ramp there at the start of the edit course, and that was the reason for it, right? Just so he had something to slide down, keep that momentum as he completed it. And now he's making his way down to some of the long-range aiming section. How you feeling about this run so far, Taylor?
So far, so good. And if you're watching at home, watching that edit course go through, you may be wondering what's going on. He's pressing so many different keys at once, being able to move that in a proper motion, and he's looking flawless so far right now, trying to shoot those targets before they even pop up. But by the time the bullet gets there, it is getting through, and this looks like a great run.
This is looking like a really good run. Is it going to be sub 2 minutes? No, it won't, but 2 minutes on the dot. Beautifully done from Anon. Wonderful for the Australian.
2 thumbs up for him. Hey, showing nerves right off the bat, but once we got in game, it's just like cruising. This is where when you start to see these players take off.
Right, so we have our first quarterfinalists on the stage, and it's Anon. Over to you two.
Anon versus Zagu, and from the beginning there, Anon did start a bit earlier than Zagu, so even if Anon finishes, it doesn't necessarily guarantee that he has got a faster time, right? We've got to keep track of the times at the top of their screens. Of course, the split screen will allow us to see where both of them are at. But right now, when I'm looking at Anon, I'm looking to see if he's going to be as flawless as he was during the time trial. Can he be as quick, as swift? Because he did get the fastest time then. If he can get the fastest time again now, Taylor, I just think it'd be almost just, you know, him saying, look, I'm not going to slow down anytime soon. Everyone better just, you know, fight for second and third place.
Well, there is a possibility that someone comes here today and every single round that they play this map, they have a better time than the previous one. It's easier if you have a slower time to start, but Anon zooming right now, just making sure he's doing everything. Every time I say that, they mess up in edit.
It's fine though, because I think from what we've seen, like, of course you don't want to make too many mistakes, but messing up an edit here or there, like, it ultimately isn't going to cut you out too much time, especially with a lot of the other things that they're doing to save time at times. Obviously you can see Zagu now making it through the edit course section as well, and both of these players, you know, we're definitely looking clean in that regard. I'm very interested to see how these times look though. I don't think Anon's run so far is as good as that first one. Not as clean in his execution, but but should still be a good time. And even though Zagu started a bit later, it looks like he's even catching up potentially, right? So
going into that elevator, Anon had about a 2 to 3 second lead above Zagu. We'll have to see if he's able to catch up here and hit those shots, but it looks like Anon was able to do everything, and another beautiful time. Now we know that's what Zagu's playing for, is that pretty much just too flat, and it's looking like it's over.
He's already over the 2-minute mark, and so that's going to be another victory for Anon. Again, I didn't think that run was going to be as fast for him, but he was still able to get 2 minutes on the dot again. Really impressive stuff from Anon. Zagu there completing the map, but ultimately not as fast as Anon. Look, he's smiling, he's confident, he's happy, brushing off the shoulder as well. This is a boy in his element.
Embrace it. Hey, this is a moment that there's very few people ever get to experience here, and you love to see him just owning it. And not only that, but showing off the consistency of all of his abilities. Rarely.
At his very, very best, if he wants to come out on top as the winner in this competition. And we're going to see both these players going at it. Both of the players who I was most impressed with coming into the competition after watching practice rounds. They've definitely performed as such in the actual competition. But will it be Anon, Lucas, Melissa to continue this great streak he's been on? We've certainly got to think he'll do it. There's no reason why he wouldn't. He's just been so on it. Everything has been so crisp, so perfect. Taylor.
Just showing that once again today, but both these players are so crisp, moving quickly, and that's what we see once again. Getting that little advantage from Merstache using the mantle mechanic. And now it is going to be a nice little aim duel. It's going to come down to these final moments.
Yeah, and I think that little mantle strat he's using just put him about half a second ahead. But missing some of the targets means that he almost loses that advantage.
Going too early, Levin.
Yeah, he went a bit too early. And it's not often we see that happen, but it's almost like he's just used to completing it. And so it's like, it's almost the instinct to just run off into the next stage. But unfortunately there, that will cost him a second or two. We'll see if that comes back to bite him by the end.
And again, neck and neck, we're looking at where they are once they get onto the platform there, and I can't tell a difference. It looked like it was 121 basically both ways.
I think Anon is like slightly ahead of him just by like, again, like we're talking about milliseconds here. We'll see though who actually is able to complete it. As long as nobody has any mishaps here towards the end, which we know are definitely possible. We've seen people fall off, we've seen people missing that final finish line and just sort of running past it. But it's going to be Anon who makes it through to the final stage on our screens first, and he's going to run through, jump down onto that second rail, and as he makes his way on up, it's going to be a sub 2 minute. Oh my goodness, and a sub 2 minute for Merstache as well. The best 2 times we have seen today, but unfortunately for Merstache, even though he's put on an absolute masterclass with his run, it's not going to be enough to beat Anon, who is absolutely unstoppable right now.
You have to be gutted if you're Merstache. You just put up the best performance of the day besides what we just saw Anon do, and that might be the best performance we see. That was 156 and change. Oh my goodness.
I didn't even know you could get so fast of a time. Absolutely ridiculous from these two, and it's a shame. You could argue that was good enough to be the finals with how good those guys are and how quick their times are. I don't know if there's anybody who will be able to match up with Anon as good as Merstache was able to there. But if anything, it just goes to show how good Anon has been. Melissa can continue this incredible run he's been on up against Alexander Feiju. Anon versus Boltz. A very, very big final. A best of 3 at that, right? So we will see who will pick it up over the course of this series. Not just going to be the best of ones that we've been seeing all throughout the competition. So, you know, a chance for redemption potentially.
It has to make you feel a little more comfortable. But when you know it's not just a single round, you can take risks in 1 or 2 rounds. Now, granted, first round, I'm just trying to put my best time on the board that I can. Then, if I have a time I'm happy with, round 2, I'm going to take a little more risk and try and push my limits of what I can do.
See here both the players again. Boltz going with his hit fire style, not the deciding to aim down with the AR, whereas Anon will aim down, and you can see that red dot just trying to pinpoint every single target. Bolts will switch to aim down at some points, but mostly going just for the hip fire. And one thing I like about Bolts as well is the way he sort of does this little crab walk where he's like spamming his sprint button and then just cancelling it out with the crouch button as well to slide. So again, players just trying to maximize the mechanics in every single way possible, placing down that reverse ramp, and Anon will do it as well just to make sure they keep that forward momentum as they head towards the elevators.
And Bolts mentioned that, using that tactical sprinting ability to the best of its ability, and now both players coming down. It looks like a slight advantage going to Bolts to start this. We'll have to see if he's able to cleanly hit all these targets and then put himself in a position to take at least the first round. Again, we're playing 3.
We'll see here whether or not both these guys will be able to keep their cool in these final moments here, right? We don't really see players messing up too much on the long distance aim. Some of the final targets can be a bit difficult. It looks like it's going to be a photo finish. Both of these guys on the rails on the same time. What times will they get to close things out? Oh! No! Bolts just missing the final finish line, and so Anon will win by just 2 seconds. It was very, very close, but a tiny bit of a mistake in the final moment there just cost Bolts.
It's not the win yet, though.
Best of 3. Best of 3, right? And so there is still another chance for Bolts to respond. It's not over for him yet. Anon is not the winner. But one thing to point out about Anon SBG up to this point is that he's not lost at any point. Everybody else in this competition has lost to a point, right? Obviously, in the time trial, if you didn't get first, I'm saying you lost. You didn't lose, you still got 3. But Anon came first in the time trial, so he won that. And he's not lost since. Bolts obviously didn't do as good in the time trial. Still does have a chance, and he will go at it. It was very, very close to being the first person to take Anon down. We'll see if he can do it here in this run. This is where it has to happen. It's all in this one for Bolts. Anon can afford for this one to slip, but he won't want it to.
Yeah, I'm trying to think about how I would want to play this if I'm both of them. If I'm Anon, obviously I'm just trying to do flawless rounds like I had in the past, because you know you can do better than the time you just put up. Now for Bolts, really has nothing to lose at this point. He's already behind, at least for our first round, and can just play as quickly as he possibly can. So, I mean, I guess I say all that. Both players are just trying to put up the best time possible. Now we move into this aiming. Really not much of a difference between all the competitors in this event, because all these players hit pretty much every shot out of the 50. If you miss 1 or 2, that's going to be the difference.
Again, we talk about those fine margins. Both players now making their way into the editing section, and look how crisp this is. Oh my goodness, so clean and satisfying to watch these guys. Again, if you've never played Fortnite before, you might think, what on earth is going on here? What they're doing is very difficult. To do it with no mistakes like both of these guys have just done, you can see their fingers just rapidly moving so fast. It is not easy. So many different actions per minute, per second. But they make it work. Both these guys now going down this elevator, and these final moments here are so crucial. If Anon can win this round, he'll win the whole competition.
The physical ability, though, to push all those buttons, the finger dexterity to move around, and then have that knowledge in your head of what exactly you need to press is not something that should be taken for granted. Not many players, not many people can do what these players are doing. We're seeing them push the limits. They're going head to head here once again. We might get 2 sub-2 moments, and no! Oh, not again by Bolts.
Once again, Bolts misses the final finish line. And so because of that, and because of another sub-2 run, Anon will be your winner. What an impressive performance it's been. The first ever Olympics Esports Series 2023 shooting winner is Anon.
We have to give a shout out though to Bolts. I mean, coming all the way to Singapore from the United States, showing up and putting on a show for us as well. Second place is definitely...
I am indeed. I'll get Bolts over here in a minute as well. Pushed all the way, winning that final 2-0, coming in as the top qualifier off the back of the time trials as well. You've done it here in Singapore in front of this crowd. You could feel the tension building towards the end there, but you are the winner. Talk us through the emotions.
I was really nervous. I'm really happy, excited. Then yeah.
Talk us through those 2 runs in the final.
The 2 runs, they were not that great. I'm pretty sure Boltz fumbled under pressure, but I'm not too sure what happened, so...
He missed just both the final jumps.
Oh, really? Yeah. Damn. Well, them last 2 runs were my worst 2 out of the 5, so I guess I'm lucky.
All right, hang here for 1 second. I'll see if we can still get Boltz over here. I think he's maybe jumped back off stage for a minute. The guys at the caster's desk have been talking up the chance of potentially you doing a victory floss for us tonight in Singapore. I know Daniel in particular has been pushing for this. You can see him up there right now. Any chance we're going to see this happen today?
Only a little.
A little. All right, come on, Singapore. Who wants to see the victory floss with our boy right now? Here we go.
We absolutely love it. Thank you so much, Anon. Incredible stuff there. He might do it again when he holds that first place trophy. Why not?
Oh,
You know?
I'm so glad he did it. I'm so glad. Because you know what? Sometimes, yeah, people, they don't
But
want...
right now, let's bring our players back on stage. We'd also like to invite on stage IOC member Ms. Tang Hong to present the trophies. In 3rd place, we have Andres Piratas. Congratulations. In 2nd place, we have Alexander Feishu. Congratulations, Alexander. Ladies and gentlemen, your winner for the Olympic Esports Series shooting category, Lucas Melissa. Congratulations. Right now, we would like to have Lucas to lift the winner's trophy in 3, 2, 1.
It's nearly 10 p.m. here in Singapore. We've just seen our winner of the shooting playing Fortnite, Anon from Australia. What a performance. He got the best time in one of the earlier rounds, but did enough to get through at a best of 3 in the final against 2nd place Boltz. How impressed have you been with him over the course of today?
So impressed. I think when you look at a player who definitely didn't come into this competition as the favorite, as the biggest name. He comes from a region where the best Fortnite players typically come from in Australia, but he has looked so unreal. How many times are you going to see something like this? You don't get to see this every day. A very special moment for the young lad.
And for all these players to be a part of a moment like this is just phenomenal. And you have to love this and love the experience.